Late June 2003, thoroughbreds from across the country gathered in Kentucky. No, not that kind of thoroughbred, this kind of thoroughbred. Corvette enthusiasts came to the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They came by the thousands for this once-in-a-lifetime event, celebrating 50 years of America's greatest sports car.
I'd never been, neither one of us had ever been to a Corvette show like we are here at Bowling Green seeing. My initial impression as a psychologist was, oh my God, this is a cult. And indeed it kind of is. It is one of a kind gathering. People are more than just a little bit possessed with their vehicles, and that includes us. It's like having a love affair, and I certainly can speak to the therapeutic value of my husband building this, what we're calling a Z53. He was possessed, is possessed. He's just like everybody else here. There's a lot of pride, there's a lot of joy in creating this car and then in loving it and tending it.
My name's Bear, and I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, originally from Detroit, Motor City. And that's where I first got interested in the Corvette. I saw the original prototype for the 53 at the Motorama in January 1953, and have loved Corvettes ever since. And this is my version of what the factory should have done for the 50th anniversary. We came up with the name Z53 because it's a Z06 underneath and a 1953 front and rear end, so Z53 was a natural name for us. The hardest thing is running down original 53 parts, and that was very difficult. The last thing that came in were the headlight bezels, and those are brand new 1953, still in the box but never used, and they came in last Wednesday. The license plate bezel is original 53, it's been re-chromed. The rear bumper is 53, re-chromed. The exhausts are a boreless system that I modified to come out of the original holes in the 53 body. The taillight lenses, I hate to say it, but they're Ford. But they look better, I think, than the factory ice cream cone taillight lenses that the 53 had. So again, it's my design, so I can put on what I want. And obviously it's not done. I have hundreds of hours of sanding left to do and painting, but we had to be on the road to make it here. The engine is the Corvette Z06 factory engine, all aluminum V8. Comes from the factory with 405 horsepower, and I've warmed it up a little bit. Last week it dynoed out at 456 horsepower at the engine, just with external modifications and a little, few tuning changes. But it gets along real good. We're real happy with the performance of the engine.
Saw my very first Vet picture in a magazine when it first appeared at Waldorf Astoria in New York City. I was a car guy then, buying car magazines, 11 years old. Just can't leave things alone. And I've had a lot of people ask me the last couple of days. I said, well, I got a good start. I got a lot of things I want to do yet. And they said, what in the world more can you do? I said, it's a car thing. I said, you can go forever. You're not done until you say you're done. But, you'll recognize the Z06 wheel. I've changed this to a 2000 wheel, but it's built to the Z06 specs. They're an inch wider and a different offset than the standard Corvette wheel. Some people drink, some people do drugs. I think I'm a lot better off doing this. I can't say it won't get you in trouble, because it can get you in trouble. But, sometimes the law takes a dim view of what we think is fun.
From the first fiberglass two-seat roadster in 1953 to the ground-pounding big blocks of the late 60s and early 70s. For 50 years, Corvettes have been an American icon. Like the C5s of today, the C6s and C7s of tomorrow are sure to keep the tradition alive.
Hi, I'm Bob Staten. I'm from Central Kentucky. Behind is my 60 Corvette, which has been slightly modified. It has an LT1 engine in it, 700 R4 transmission, 323 limited slip gears, Dakota digital dash, Fat Man fabricated front end, and numerous other things that I can't think of at the present time. The first one I saw was probably back in the early 60s, and I fell in love with it, and I just had to have one when I was big enough and had enough money.
My name is Don, and I'm from East Lansing, Michigan, and this is my 1954 Corvette. I purchased the car in January of 1977, and it's pretty much the way I found it. It was, the best of my knowledge, it was restored in the late 60s, and I've basically just maintained the car, and it is a driver, and it drives very well, and it's become quite dependable, and I've really enjoyed it. It happens to be blue for 1954, and there are 300 blue cars built. I've been in Corvettes. I have a 59 Corvette that I purchased in 1960. So let's see, I've driven a Corvette for 43 years. I've never really restored a car, I've just maintained the car. Just try to keep it original. I don't alter things, and try to do it the way the factory built it. Of course, they asked me the question, is the Corvette the most important thing in your life? And I says, well, no, my children and my family would be the most important thing, so let's say the Corvette's the second most important thing.